Okay. Yeah, those are our notes from all the. We do them twice a month online.
Oh yeah.
And I've been doing them for about 2 years online. Is that right? Yeah. Yeah, because it's 2023, right? Yes.
It is.
Yeah.
Today's April Fool's Day.
Oh my gosh.
That's why you got me here.
Yeah, but I will guarantee this is no April Fool's. For sure.
Yes,
For
yes,
sure.
I know.
You didn't plan it that way.
I love it because afterward I always moved more into like how you can't make this stuff up, because anytime you're doing we're exploring or we're having experiences, the human mind always is like, I'm making this up, right? Like this isn't for real. And it's so normal to have that sensation. It's just part of being human. And I also definitely advocate having a healthy dose of skepticism with everything and going by like what feels correct and what doesn't. I myself have that, and I believe anything and everything is possible, even beyond our imagination. And also not everything is what people say it is. So, we always want to be aware of that. So I'm Alexis. Hello. Welcome.
And I'm Andy, just for you guys who haven't met me yet. Hello, everyone.
So Andy, what we'll be doing is Andy will be facilitating for us. So I do trance channelings, which means that I am going deep to connect. So I allow Simon's energy to come through and he speaks through me. And so when I very first started, the first time I ever held a channeling experience, which we call bardo usually, and so bardo is a Tibetan word for that transition, that in between life, death, and like the next piece, and it's a very transformative experience. And when I was writing my first book in January of 2020, the word bardo kept coming up, and then we had the pandemic started in March, and we had all these things, and it became really clear. In 2020, we had a lot of timeline jumping. So I don't know how many of you are familiar with timelines and time experiences, somewhat. So the idea is that the time's not linear, right? And then there's actually infinite expressions of any individual experience. So we're each incarnated as whom we are, and also we have very multitudes of experiences in other eras. And then each one we have like multitudes, like there's infinite versions of Alexis, but also I've incarnated as other things. Does that make sense? Yeah. And what happens is, what's always kind of occurred with time is that we're just experiencing, and then there's many of us don't notice the parallel experiences that we're having. Most of it's just like, we wake up, we eat, we go to work, we come home, we go to sleep, we do the same thing on repeat. And then we start to have these experiences of like, wait, there's more of that. And we're at a time, as many of you probably know that are sitting here, we're in a time when that's really shifting. And the number of people that are becoming aware that there's more than just the mundane reality is growing exponentially moment to moment. Part of what's occurring with that, and it happened a lot in that year that I noticed, was a lot of convergence of timelines. And so what that means is timelines that were similar to one another were almost merging with one another and becoming a single timeline. Does that? Yeah. And yeah. So, you remember that year was so odd. There were so many bizarre things going on that none of it made any sense. And part of that was like that convergence. And that year was when I had been working with Simon since 2015, I want to say. And at first I was just working with the energy. I was an acupuncturist in Florida, and so I would work with clients, and I enjoyed acupuncture. Acupuncture is amazing. And when I started working with him, we started working on channeling a modality, like an energy healing. And so we would use this. It's like, this is great. So the big dream was, you have a big family healing center, and we help people, and we use this energy, and it's fantastic. And then I started having experiences where it became really clear that this energy wasn't just for the clients. This is going to be shared. and the words expansion principle came through, and that's actually the modality that I practice and they attune people to. We have around 50 practitioners all over the world that practice this energy, and so it's similar to Reiki in that it's an energy that comes through, right? Reiki is universal life force energy, and it's, my experience has been, it's directly related to this reality, to this experience, to this earth. Yeah. And the expansion principle is not from this earth, it's not from this dimension, and Simon is not of this dimension. And so my experience with him when I was writing the book, it's like, okay, we're going to share more messages. And that's when I began realizing that, wait, I can actually, he can speak through me. It's not just, doesn't have to just be in here. And that's when this aspect started coming through. So that's been the last 3 years that I've been doing that. And then we started doing them regularly. And so now you get to experience that. So Simon and I have, what he explained to me was that we're something, the closest way to explain it was binary stars. So he and I sort of incarnate all the time together. So binary stars, it's actual binary stars in our galaxy and in all galaxies. And what it means is that two stars remain in orbit with each other. And so that's what they do. They can't go outside of each other's orbit. And so what our experience has been is that we incarnate together. It's our jam. It's what we do. And so there have been times when I play his role and he's incarnated and vice versa, and incarnating together. And so it's a little bit different, because one of the questions people always ask is like, how did he choose you? Or like, well, it's not like that. It's not like that at all. It's just one of those things.
Right.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a normal human question. Yes, it is very 3D. Yeah. And it, it's valid. But it's like, no, we came here to do this work together, and so the messages that he brings are varied. So it's very much about expansion as our natural state. That is what it's all about. When you get down to it, is we live a reality as being corporeal, that there's binary. And everything in our reality is binary. And you hear people talk all the time, there's always binary, there's always a polarity. And yet oneness consciousness is not binary. So what we come from, right, like the source consciousness isn't binary. There isn't. So, and what my understanding has become is that part is expansion, and for the sake of expansion. And you actually have across all traditions, in Christianity and Islam and Buddhism and all these different religions, you have this concept of the point of incarnation is to grow and to expand. That's its point. Like, that's our whole purpose, is to do that. And coming back to that understanding that is our primary imperative, is to expand, and like what that means for each of us, and honoring that in one another. And when we look at some of the things, especially in humanity, that are destructive or hurtful or painful or separative, part of why that's occurring and why that doesn't feel comfortable, it's actually contractive energy. You think about people doing harm to one another, it doesn't expand anything, it contracts it. So the idea here is to become more of ourselves, to heal more, to clear more, to allow more of you and the entirety of your consciousness to come through, to express itself. Like, that's all of it's about expression and expansion. So.
Any questions or thoughts? No?
Or
thoughts?
I'd love to connect you to my other lady that I know. So I connected you to Dr. S, and she just changed her group name to, instead of Lightworker Expansion Call, Soul Expansion Call, and it's basically everything but the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Stream, so.
There's so many, when you start looking at so many people, the expansion piece is huge. Like, that's what it is. And that's why we're drawn, as human beings, we sometimes have this sensation that we're always wanting to grow, right? And then when we get into, like you said, like that 3D kind of energy, it's when it's purposeless and it's not grounded, or it's more on to gain things or material. And material's fine. Being human's awesome. Like, there's so many things it's super fun. There's so many amazing experiences that you get to have being corporeal, and the sensory experience, and like, we should enjoy that. And then also at the same time having this awareness that there's like more, right, too, and both things at the same time. All right, so what we'll do is I'll go ahead and do my thing and go in. It doesn't take very long these days. And then what we'll ask, we thought we'd start with a global question of just asking insight for April. Astrologically, April's a big month. And so we'll just ask what's up. And if they're...
Yeah, so we'll start there.
We'll start there. Mm-hmm.
And then if you guys have any questions that you want, I'll check with you, or you could raise a hand or something. Feel free. You can ask Simon questions.
Do they have to be like general for everybody, or could it be a person?
It can be personal, whatever you want. Yeah, whatever you want to ask. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's going to be based on your comfort level, you know, with people listening and things like that. But
But
you
feel
can
free
ask
to have a dialogue and stuff. Yeah, and I'll help kind of facilitate between you guys with that. So.
Okay, and then at the end, what I'd like to do is closing and ask him if he has a general message for the group that's here and listening, you know, watching and listening.
A general message. Okay.
Yeah. And then if any of you don't have a specific question that you come up with, but you are curious what he has to say for you, you can just say like just general guidance or whatever. That's totally acceptable. I know sometimes the pressure of a question is like, I don't know what to ask.
Yeah.
So that's not
Or the fear of hearing what it's going to be.
Yeah, sometimes you just want general, you know.
Yes.
So,
And this might be irrelevant, but do you know what dimension Simon is?
So that's actually a really
Yes.
great question, because we've played with the different words to use to describe the dimensional part of it, because what he's explained to me most recently is his beingness is trans-dimensional, and what that means is he has the ability to be in multiple dimensions at once. So that's where it gets tricky, like using words like multidimensional. Well, we're all multidimensional. We have more than one aspect to us, but he exists, and this is yes. Yeah, which is part of why are we asking a being that's not in a human form, you know, questions, and it's like, how does that even work? And it's like that multiversal experience, that multidimensional experience, and so it allows for there to be a depth. And what's really interesting is that Simon has had incarnations as human, right? And so that's where there's an additional layer of, there's that compassion for our experience, where sometimes he does get a little irritated sometimes with our silliness.
Jesus lived here and also.
Yeah, exactly. Which is really fascinating, and they carry all of that experience at once.
So they can understand what we're going through.
Which is different, right? And not all beings that connect with us have that. Some don't, and so it's the perspective is different. The perspective is an outside perspective in a way of what it appears to be like. But being human's hard. Coming in and forgetting everything is really hard, and it's really painful too, and to feel separate when it's just really complicated. No, but when we don't know, it is.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, when we don't know, before we don't remember, and I think that's why there's so much pain in the world, is because many of us didn't remember.
I asked just to glance.
Yeah, but that's what's starting to happen, is that we're remembering, and that's a big part of what the work that we do, and with the expansion principle, is that what you're doing is healing at the very beginning of whatever issue, so the very seed. And so when you do that, you start to transmute our stagnant material. So when we have a trauma, when we have an experience and it's stuck and it's stagnant, we actually can't use the gifts of the experience we've had. So everything we've ever experienced is potent, and it has incredible gifts and love and energy and movement. But when it's stuck, it can't. So the idea is to heal that, so then you just freed the gift of whatever experience it is, right? And so when you do that, you just create more space. And when you create more space, more of your we call origin consciousness. So I know I'm going to lots of topics. So you'll be able to watch this again.
Like a sponge.
All of this.
Yeah, I was gonna say explain the origin part a little bit. Yeah.
I'm gonna soak it in.
So origin consciousness for us is that moment when we differentiate from source. So we're all like oneness consciousness, and we differentiate. And there is, even though there's always a now, there's an expansive now. So our nows are always changing. So everything exists in the now, but then in the next moment, everything I did now belongs to the new now. which is kind of a variable to this idea that everything is just static. It's not. That doesn't even remotely make sense. That everything's happened and that's it. There isn't anything. Well, what are we doing?
Right.
We're just playing out something that occurred already, and that doesn't feel correct in my body at all. It's every now is an expansive now, right? So we have this moment when we first differentiate, and non-hierarchically, and in a way non-linear chronologically, we have a moment that we experience, a lifetime. And it doesn't actually even just mean human. It can be as a plant, it can be as an ET, it can be as whatever. That holds the totality of us in a way, right? And so we're making more space for the totality of us. And so when which some people are going to call soul, right? Like when we allowing more space for more of our soul to come in, because the more that our soul is able to drop into this form, we decision make in a different way. We express in a different way. We hold ourselves in a different way. We hold others in a different way. And then we change. And we allow the transformation and evolution, right?
Butterfly.
Yeah.
That's how I felt. Now I gotta help my questions for you.
Oh, I love your questions. You may ask as many as you'd like.
As
Yeah.
many, yeah.
Because I'm just in the midst of my
Awakening.
no. I've been awake for a long time.
Yeah.
Actually, with my gifts and
Yeah.
stuff.
But in the midst of it, yeah, it's always this evolution, right? Like even it doesn't ever stop.
We all have gifts, you know.
Yeah, we do.
It's just
Yeah.
coming to know that you have and how to bring them out.
Yeah.
It's all an expression. It's all an expression of our soul, of our experience, of all the
Yeah.
things. Yeah, it's really amazing.
So many angles to that.
All right, so
Okay.
get started.
Yeah, we're ready. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna double check while you start going under. I just want to make sure that camera's still going. Oh, looks like we're going. No issues. Okay. You warm it up? Yeah.
I'm wondering if I'm too warm, but then I'm gonna get cold.
Yeah, I'd keep it on because it always seems like you need it. And if you get uncomfortable, he usually will bring you out and you can get it off too. Yeah.
It's funny because I don't normally use shoes except at events.
Do you
Usually
want?
barefoot? No, I think I'm
Are you good? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it is like a Shazam. Yeah. What's that? I'm not
They always $10. This is $10 for these rings.
We may begin.
Welcome, Simon.
Yeah, two.
We are in Road River today at Janilou Creations with a group of people that would love to hear some advice and insight for the month of April.
Oh, this is cool.
Yes, it is in much gratitude that you are here.
Remember last time I got a copy?
What needs to be said is quite important. The entirety of this year and the coming next 4 to 7 years is quite important for your experiences,
It's like on the shelf where I put
both individually and collectively. And the month of April is not an exception.
Ooh, there's a tiny one. $54.
What needs to be remembered is not just that you are choosing, but that you're choosing multiple. All the possibilities are the possibilities.
I want this little tiny one.
All the possibilities are expressed within your
It's
beingness.
only $54.
Allowing for the worry and the fear of choosing the right thing needs to be
How much is this one?
allowed to be put down.
79.
Focusing on the expression, what needs to be expressed at this time, and allowing that expression to move forward. There's a variety of expressions in this room, and quite certainly in those who will be watching as well. What needs to be remembered
$54.
is that even with difficulty, allowing the fullness of that difficulty and allowing it for not to be difficult. Yes. it is easy to forget that the way that you express your experiences is just that, just merely an expression.
Those are $20. Oh, thanks.
On the 7th day of April, there's significant solar and geomagnetic experiences that will be had. Being able to tune into and tap into that awareness. And this can simply be opening and allowing and remembering that on that day. And allowing whatever sacredness needs to move through you to move through you. Allowing yourselves the care to allow these frequencies to assist you. Both the physical planet that you reside on and the celestial bodies around you have their experiences and their personal expressions, and those can be beneficial to you. You are all evolving at the same time. This is incredibly critical to remember, that it isn't separate. The Earth's experience is not separate from your experience. The quaking that will occur this month, not in this area, it is in another area, is an expression of the changes that are necessary for the vibrations to continue to alter, to change, and to expand, yes?
How much is this one? We'll say right in the bottom of it. 12.
At the end of the month, there will be an awareness that you are invited into, if you choose to, of dancing with time in a different way. Many people will be able to do this in a new capacity. All of these things that we see and we share are all potentialities, and it is always the sovereign ability to choose that or not. And this is quite important to remember, the sovereignty as well. Your sovereignty is one of the most important capacities and expressions that you have, remembering that you are in fact the one that is choosing, that you are in fact the one that it moves through the experience that you have, that these things are not occurring to you, but for you and through you, yes? Yes.
$28. I'm saving on those.
Yes, we may continue. There are particular specific questions that these individuals have at this time.
Okay. Anybody would like to begin? Any questions so far? Anybody feel? Yeah.
I just wonder if you have a message for me.
Okay. Message for you.
Yes.
They're in Riley's room right now. I think we actually already got Can we back up? Yeah.
Yes, to begin with, the snow wanders, yes? Snow wanders as it comes down and it falls, it wanders into crevices, it wanders, yes? But it's important for you to recognize, particularly at this time, but also the integration of the past 5 years, is that there is a blending in together of the experiences. And in that blending, it becomes a masterpiece. And as you move forward, as you say yes to each invitation that you have been presented, as you say yes and with excitement of each possibility and opportunity that presents itself to you, remembering that it is quite important for you to continue. There isn't quite an option to not continue, as you already sovereignly chose to begin and to continue on, yes?
I know, exactly.
There's specific choices that will be coming up within the next 3 to 6 months. This is variable depending on the timeline that you walk and operate on. On a specific expansion within the business, yes? There will also be a settling within your life that will allow for this to be more easily facilitated, yes? Yes, is that clear?
Yes, thank you.
would you like to ask any more questions concerning that or clarification of anything on that? Is that good?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, yes.
So I am going through a huge expansion in this time.
Yeah.
So much coming to me. I have been working on my gifts for a while, as well as clearing. If Simon can read any of that.
Okay.
Today's supposed to be the day. I don't know. The Arturian's been talking to me about utilizing my gifts and getting them out there to help humanity.
Yeah.
This is why I'm here. I know that. I have felt it for many years.
Yeah.
So I have questions about that. What is going down? Or is it going to happen today? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yes, there's a sensation and then there are openings. Yes, on a specific day there can be an opening, but there is still the choice of moving through that. Yes, and as human beings, everything appears and feels very slow. And the awareness of it. So you have a happening, you have an experience, you have an energetic opening, yes, and an augmentation is what we refer to it as oftentimes, is that there will be an augmentation. And as that augmentation occurs, it takes some time, some human time in assimilating that augmentation. And while we do recognize it feels like it has been quite a long time, often what happens is that that's what's required for the human form. You must remember that there's so much more to just your individual experience. You're so much more than just this experience, yes, and in that you must navigate all the other pieces to it until you remember that you are more than just this, which means you're more than capable to traverse whatever it is that is in front of you, yes? And what is important to also understand is when there's a moment, there's this understanding. It says, yes, I am ready. Yes, I am willing. And even if I am not ready, I am prepared. And being prepared is something that happens energetically and spiritually. And it quite seems that the Arcturians have been speaking to you about preparation and preparing you, both physically, energetically. This is the most important thing. These energetic preparations that are sometimes discarded as unimportant. These energetic preparations are what allow Alexis to be able to do things that she does at the capacity that she does, because the energetic preparations are of the most importance, and human beings are very uncomfortable with the energetic preparations that are necessary to their nervous system. But these are the things that must occur, yes? And these are things that are happening, not something that you just have to go do outside of yourself, but this is something that is occurring through you. And there's still that sovereign piece, yes? And there's also needs to be the understanding that something that we speak of here and then and now and again is there are on occasions quite a lot of interference, and interference specifically with individuals that are doing things that are quite large and that allow for there to be an augmentation of a lot of individuals such as yourself. And so this interference is energies that would prefer there to be a different outcome on this planet, yes? And so that understanding, it isn't a fearful understanding, but it is just an awareness. Oh, like how interesting. Okay, but we're doing this over here, and this is the choice we're making, and we're moving forward, yes? So this awareness of that over there, we're not going to ignore it, but we also don't need to be fearful of it, because what is before anything is sovereignty, yes? And sovereignty is the recognition of the oneness. It's recognition of the ability and capacity to move and move unhindered, yes? And allowing your physical form the space and the understanding that it is quite all right to move at the pace that you would like to move, but also recognize, is there a shackle of interference, and you may allow it to, claiming your sovereignty and saying, oh, yes, I am sovereign, you may remove yourself. I am not giving permission for you to be obstructing my space, yes? And what is most important for you at this time is to begin to teach the things that you have been experiencing, to teach classes. This is quite important, if this is not being done already at the capacity that needs to. Oh yes, you do this with your friends, but needs to be larger. This is quite important to do it quite largely. It is important to just know and to move through. You know what you are, so please go do the things that you need to do, because you know, yes? Yes, to continue to ask the same questions also becomes a little troublesome for yourself, because then you begin to wonder, oh yes, and your system gets a little confused, yes, but you know, so move forward, please, yes.
We needed that too.
Yes. So I just have one more question.
Yes, yeah.
I have this, I've learned this a lot, there's pain in my shoulder that keeps reoccurring, and I've gotten this thought from something from previous time. I don't know how to get rid of it.
Yes, what needs to be done is that there needs to be a restructuring of the energetics of the space of the arm, yes, and of the arm and of the shoulder. The physical space, it's almost like it needs to have an energetic transplant, if you will, yes? Because as you move that platform, if nothing is taking up the space as you remove it, what will happen is that it remembers itself and it remembers that that's its home, so it comes back to it, yes? And anything that is matching that platform will then allow it to repopulate itself, yes? And so an aspect of when it is removed the following time, which is going to happen at this time, if that is of your wishes, then what would occur is you would like to then imagine there to be a stitching together and a repair. This is of the utmost importance, that the areas that you remove things from energetically and spiritually that are then repaired as well on an energetic level. Yes, this is clear. Yes. Is that quite different than what was done before?
Would you like to have an energetic, Simon can do some energetic work on it right now if you would like.
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. And if he would kind of go in and energetically repair
Yes,
that.
kindly take a
area.
deep breath.
So, yeah, take a deep breath.
Yes, it was also connected to armor, previous armor from a past life experience. What happens sometimes with platforms is that there also is almost like a loss of a body part. Yes, and it needs to be retrieved. It needs to be the imprint of it, the remembrance of it. This happened in previous lifetimes where there was the removal of that body part. And so what happens is that this multitude of things, it isn't just a platform. It isn't just, many times it isn't just one thing. Yes, there's an attraction and magnetics to the things and experiences that we each individually have. Yes. Yes. Yes.
How'd that feel?
Powerful.
Yes.
Yes, we may continue.
Any other questions you would like to ask? To complete at the
I'm ready
moment?
to go teach, I guess.
Yes, you are.
Yes,
Yes, you
yes,
are.
yes.
That's right. Yes, you
Yes,
are.
thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Yes, you
I
have a
don't know
question?
what I gotta do to remove the evil spell that was placed on me before my birth.
There was also an agreement that was made, yes? There was an agreement that was made that was not. Yes, just a moment. She's having difficulty with the word. It was not attended to. There was an agreement, and the other individual took it away. They did not move forward with the agreement that they were supposed to be doing. This is why it is still attached to you and connected to you. There's a specific agreement that you can now rectify. Is that clear?
Because it was on the parents.
Yes, it was. And they had an agreement that they failed to complete. Is
Yeah,
that
so
clear?
it came on to me.
Yes, it is. And so now you have the obligation to complete that.
I don't know what it is.
Yes, just a moment.
Okay. He's gonna see.
Yes, is there access to the land in which they resided on?
No.
Yes. That there's access to the land nearby it?
No, not.
Yes, you may do this in your mind. There's always access to all land. You don't need to physically walk the spaces, but you may allow yourself to be drawn to that space. Yes, there needs to be an offering into the ground. You do this, you connect into the space, you imagine yourself there, and you ask the earth what it would like in the offering, and in this meditation you will offer it, yes? There's also a dedication of yourself. You came in knowing that these energies were going to be there, that those energies, yes, you came in knowing, your soul came in knowing, because there's rectification of this energy, yes? Yes, there's also an importance in understanding that once you recognize this, and also the declaration of sovereignty, what becomes a little bit tricky is that when you sovereignly choose to accept something, yes, and that was what was done. Your parents were aware that they did not agree, and they did not complete the agreement, yes? Yes, and so then of course, the energies must continue. They must continue until you allow them to be transmuted. And you came in to allow those things to be transmuted. So you may do that. There's also specific things that you need to be doing to express yourself more fully. You're not expressing yourself fully, are you? Yes. It's important at this time to express yourself most fully. It is important for everyone in this room and everyone who is listening and everyone to express themselves most fully. one of the most difficult things that human beings have is that they believe that they aren't intended to express themselves, that they conform to the things that they're told that they're supposed to do. It's one of the most significant aspects of being asleep is that conformity. Yes, it's important to express oneself fully. You may express yourself most fully at this time. Yes, and doing this meditation at this time, there's an aspect that we've already created, this opening, yes, this yielding to this change, and by accepting the fact that you know that there's obligations that need to be met, yes, and what's quite interesting is that part of it is a restitution of harm that was done in the family line, yes, and so you can do this by bringing repair to and being of service to, and you do this through your natural expression, which is why it's quite important to have this full expression, yes. Yes, it is also important to know, you know the way in which you would be most fully expressed, yes? In your heart, you know how you would like to express yourself most, yes. And those are the things that you must do at this time.
Oh, thank you.
Can I ask
Yes.
a question about his?
Yeah.
What the offering is?
Yeah, like what he would do for the
Yeah.
offering. Could there be specifics there,
Yes,
Simon?
it will present itself. The earth will present what it is, yes? Because the earth is also holding that. There was harm that was done. There was harm that was done. There was blood that was shed, and there was pain that was created. And this must be rectified. And this can be rectified in meditation. But to be clear, you won't just be meditating. You will be going back to the time and the place in which it occurred, yes? It will feel as though it's a meditation, but you will be doing significant spiritual work. Is this clear?
Mhm.
Yes. Do you have difficulty in doing this on your own? Because we believe that you're able to do this.
I could do it, I just didn't know what I had to do.
Yes, you go in and you ask, show me. You go deep into meditation and you say, please take me to this place and this time where it is most important for me to come to terms with the agreement that was made. I would like to make restitution at this time. And then you will be brought there. And the earth will tell you what is most correct, yes?
Yes.
So whatever's presented to him will be the right thing that he needs
Yes,
to
and
do.
we'll be able to offer this.
Yeah.
There's the idea that there needs to be physical things to be offered, but it does not need to be that way.
Right.
What is in the mind is just as potent. Oh, it's quite different, of course, in the sensory way, but in terms of the energetics and moving things in the correct way, it is just as potent, yes.
Do you feel complete? Want any more questions?
Well, no, once I can remove that out of my way, I know where I'm going. Wealth and a good relationship and a life of prosperity and happiness.
I like it.
And I have to get rid of that before I can move on to
Yes,
It's
the
holding you
energy
back.
is now yielded. You may do so. Yes, you may do so. We have begun some work, and then when you go home this evening, you may do this. Yes?
yes.
I like it. I like it a lot. Yes. Did you have another question, Janny? No,
I just
For this?
a little emotional over that.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry,
good.
I just have one more.
Never apologize.
How-
Never.
So I have put things together and it was brought to me as far as teachings, and I guess it wasn't the time for those particular types of teachings. So I'm asking, should I just bring in my experiences and start there in some kind of a sequential manner, or
How should she start going
Yeah.
about putting her teachings out into the world?
Yes, what occurs oftentimes is that you're presented with information before it is fully formed. This is quite common. This happens to Alexis as well, and it's quite frustrating to her, as it is to most beings. It is quite frustrating to be given the beginning of something. But what is important to remember is that your form must be seated with what is coming in order for you to increase your capacity to hold the theme, yes? For you to prepare yourself and for your human self to be prepared for the thing that you are doing. If it just came in and that it was time, you wouldn't actually be ready or prepared. The understanding of the teachings prior to it being the physical and human linear time to express itself is quite important. That it will come before, so that when it is time, you know and you have it. So many of the teachings that you have been brought before, it is time to do that now. It is also important to share not just one's experience. There's a lot of tangible how-to. What occurs is that when you go through experiences, you believe that everyone understands these things, yes? That they're very mundane, and why would I want to teach these things that everyone knows? And in fact, not everyone knows these things, yes? So using your experiences and bringing it forward, it will come to you each step that you will offer, yes? Yes.
okay,
Is that clear?
yes.
Yes. You begin with the topics that are most joyful to you, yes. That feel most easeful, that just ooze out of your beingness, because there are quite a few topics that feel that way, yes. So you begin by beginning. This is one of the most interesting things about beings, is that they, oh, how do I begin? Well, you begin by beginning. Yes, yes, right.
Right. Yes. Thank you.
Those experiences are foundations. That's what you're building on.
Great.
I like it. Yeah, really good.
Yes, we may
Continue. Okay. Amy, would you like? Yes.
I feel like a lot of my questions were already answered in that, which is
Wonderful.
fabulous.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But anything specifically for me, guidance wise?
Yes. Yes, the rainbow unicorns are ready to come forward to be interacting with you, yes? This is quite an important thing. It seems so silly, the things that we experience is that human beings have when they're children, especially. It's like, oh, what's silliness? But it isn't silliness, and it's quite important. And actually, the energetic dimension that unicorns reside on, specifically the rainbow unicorns, is quite important. It seems so silly, doesn't it, when it comes out of the mouth and you hear these things, but it is actually, there's a potency. And what is, some of the mythology around removing the unicorn horn is such silly nonsense, because what actually occurs is that it's a regeneration. It's almost as if it's a liquid. It has a plasma liquid, and that liquid can be cultivated as you ask it. Oh, may I have some? I'm ready for this to transmute myself, and that is what needs to happen. Does this make clear sense to you?
Yes, thank you.
Yes, you're
Wow.
quite welcome.
That's really, I like it. Would you like to ask more at this moment? Yeah, yeah.
Well, it's
You gotta take a breath. Yeah, it's a big
Yeah,
one.
I've been wanting to tell my story, and YouTube is like the platform, I think, and Facebook.
Yeah.
And just kind of focusing on the parenting, positive, gentle parenting aspect. Just feeling like you asking that kind of helped me too, because I've been thinking about doing the same thing. It's just like, you think that it makes sense to everybody, but it doesn't.
Right.
Like they're
Right.
not even asking the important questions, and
Right.
yeah.
Right.
Also bridging the gaps between the spiritual and the medical community is
Yes.
big for me.
Mm.
So,
That's a very great mission. It's hard, but it's a great mission for you. Yeah.
So I guess, it's hard to know where to focus first. So I have kids, so
Is there a focus of guidance maybe?
The focus is in them, yes. The focus is with the children. So you share what you are actively doing, what you are actually in. That is the most easeful thing, yes.
Yeah.
The things that you are sharing with them, you then just share with others, yes.
be real. Thank you.
Yeah. So it doesn't have to be separate. Integrate.
Yeah, just-
Oh no, it isn't possible for it to be separate for you. That'd be quite taxing for you, and it wouldn't be possible. And there's important, they actually came here to allow for that facilitation to occur. So their experience is intertwined with your experience that you're having right now. Yes, you wouldn't be able to parent if it wasn't for them coming in to be parented, yes? This must be remembered, yes. They are here for the journey and the experience and for your expression as well, yes? And while they are not responsible for you, of course, they did, on a soul level, choose to come in to be facilitators for this, yes.
Confirmation of that. Thank
Yes.
Are you complete for now? Yeah.
you. Yeah.
Okay. Wonderful.
There's an additional aspect here, allowing yourself to be enveloped with the love, yes? Particularly, these rainbows are quite important for you. This prismatic energy is quite important for you, and allowing yourself to be enveloped in that and enrobed by it will allow you to have the confidence that is necessary to move forward, yes?
Thank you.
Yes. You may continue.
Okay. Thank you.
I'm very stuck on a healing journey, just beginning, tons of emotions, just wondering if there's any guidance for me.
Yes, it is not a stuckness. Yes, it's quite different than that. It's that it's a very large thing. Yes. So when you are in the forest and you're walking, there's this idea that you are lost. But if you are in a place, then how can you possibly be lost? Yes, it is that sensation. If you are moving, you are actively healing. You have an awareness of this. Yes. Yes, and how could you possibly be stuck in the healing if you are actively healing? Yes, there is a discomfort in the duration of time that things take, yes, and the way that the layers and movement and everything flows through. There's a discomfort that individuals have. But what's the most important thing to become unstuck is to recognize that you are in fact not stuck. To to recognize the fact that you can allow for the energy to move through you, yes, and allowing yourself to be where you are. And the healing experience is a beautiful experience. Yes, it doesn't have to be sticky and hard. It allows it to be transmuted quite gently because it is allowing space for more of you to come in, yes? The human has a lot of difficulty with the forgiveness aspect of this healing.
Got that right.
And forgiveness is quite important for you because that is a sensation of the stuckness, is in fact an ability to forgive. But forgiveness is an energy that is quite important because otherwise, when you hold energetics, then you are still there. You're still in that moment. And if you don't ever release it, your body and your mind will continue to transport you to those moments and will cause the anxiety and the episodes that you have. Those episodes are directly related to time traveling to the experiences in the moment because you are refusing to allow for there to be a forgiveness. There needs to be the forgiveness for it no longer to have a hold on you. What is also important is you must forgive yourself and not have blame or shame or any of the things that are very common within the human experience, yes? Allowing there to be a gentleness. And yes, I am quite aware of the way in which I've been speaking is quite a bit harsh, but there also needs to be that, and in juxtaposition, the softness of it. So now that you understand, then you can be soft, yes? And to be kind and to be tender with yourself and to have an awareness of how you are doing quite well and moving quite well, yes? Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Would you like any further questions? No? Okay. I love it. Okay.
Can I ask one more?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
It has to do with my business.
Okay.
Because I have been going through, and he gave me confirmation that I'm continuing my business.
Yes.
Okay.
That's the feeling I got when I
Yeah.
got the message, yeah.
But I have it in my head that I'm moving. Am I gonna be moving my business, I guess is
Ah.
my other question.
Yes.
Okay. It'll be in Rogue River though, right?
Yes, it will be an
That's what I was just gonna ask. Where's it going?
Yes, you're going to need quite a lot more space. You
That's right.
have an awareness. The mission that you shared with Alexis was quite potent for her to hear, and it is quite potent for you to share it in the way that you did because you don't always share it in that way, and for some reason it came out of your mouth the way that it did. And in that, you activated an awareness and you activated a timeline experience to be able to have that more potently. And what part of what that is that you need more physical space, yes? And that
Yes.
is what the move will be, and it will be quite lovely and quite beautiful and very expansive. Yes?
Good.
Yes.
Thank you.
You only shared this quite only just a few days, and look at the people that are here at this moment, yes? You're intended to allow and have the facilitation for more individuals to have more sharing of their work. There is quite an importance in that facilitator, and you have chosen that role even before you came in, and now you are sovereignly in this human form saying, yes, this is what I'm willing to do. Yes, 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 I'm willing to do this, and more and more and more and more, yes? So yes, of course, there needs to be more physical space, yes? And it will be quite all right. There will be an opening. Yes, you worry about the financial aspects of these things, and there will be an opening. There will be a possibility that all of the things will come together, yes? And there will be the financial resources to be able to do the things that you need to do. And the opening and the largeness of the space, it's almost as if you need that to say yes to the financial growth as well, yes?
Yes.
Yes. Because when something is small, then it can only be small. Yes. And this isn't factual, but sometimes it's necessary to go with the parameters in which a human being has, yes? Yes.
I have I have a place in mind, but I would need to remodel, add on to make it bigger, but it would be mine,
Yes.
not renting. And so that is kind of,
That feels
I don't know
really
whether
good.
to let go of that thought and just let whatever happens happen, or
Well, of course, it is always to let go and let whatever happens, happens. But that does not mean that your idea isn't correct, right?
Yeah.
Yes. And something that is quite helpful in general is to feel into if your mind is creating something or if it's coming through you. Yes, it's quite different. The human mind likes to problem solve and get it in quite a mess. But what we're discussing is when these inspirations come to you, yes? And those inspirations that come through, they seed for something else. So whether it is this thing that is quite what you're thinking of or something greater, then whatever it is most perfect, yes? Yes.
yes. Thank you.
Yes.
Sounds exciting. Any other questions from anyone?
Boy, a family question, perhaps.
Sure.
I I long to be closer to family. I realize living out here away from family, my daughter's having a baby, and my husband doesn't want to go anywhere. So I'm really conflicted. I want to be close to Rogue River, but I want to be close to my kids too. And I don't know what to do.
Why can you not have both?
Well, if I had the financial means, I could do somewhere I need to be. I am out in Weimar area. It's even a distance to drive to Rogue River.
Yes, there is quite a lot of solutions that are coming forward for it. Yes, the things are already in motion. I would speak to your daughter as she has ideas already that she has not shared with you. Yes, so this is quite important to have these conversations, to express it more factually. And what happens within certain family relationships, and it's quite common with you and your daughter, is that neither one of you really want to bother the other with these ideas or these things. Or you love each other quite a lot and like to spend time together, but there's this idea of like, oh, but she has her, oh, but she, this isn't necessary to have these things, yes?
Thank you so much.
It's relevant to me too.
Yes, yeah. How are we doing, Simon? Can we have a few more questions, or are we feeling complete?
Yes.
Okay, yes, we can continue.
I don't want to cause any fear, but in relation to what was said about earthquakes,
Yeah.
I'm a little bit concerned about the West Coast.
Yeah.
Do I need to, and how soon? As I've been worried about, do I need to move? Because I've been told that we will lose the entire West Coast soon.
Oh, that is not something that will be happening in this lifetime experience.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, that is why I wanted to ask.
Yes.
Because that's a huge weight off of my heart and shoulders, because I love the Pacific Northwest and I'm gonna save it.
This
Yeah.
is why we live here.
Yeah, I love it, and I wanna give back to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wonderful, thank you so much.
Yeah. All right, any other questions at this moment?
Was Tartaria real?
What?
Was Tartaria real?
Is Tartaria real?
Tartaria, yes, it is. It's a different dimensional experience. This is what needs to be understood when the question of real or not real, yes? That things can lay over one another in different realities and even within the human experience. But this is what we also discussed with the fairies and with the unicorns that was mentioned, yes? This layover. It's almost as if their different realities lay over one another in certain dimensions, yes? And it's a passageway in and out, and this is what needs to be recalled when something is being asked if something is real or not, yes? And there's also the sensation within you, there's a guidance system that knows. And also, it is quite important for all beings at this time to really evaluate what real means for them, yes?
100%.
Yes.
All right, Simon, we would like to wrap our session up if there would be a general message for the group today.
Yes, it's quite important for you all to continue. You are all activated in your individual missions at this time. It is important for you to continue and not allow for there to be distractions. It's very important for you to know that your expression of everything that is most important to you, yes, can be expressed at this time, and allowing the expression to come through you, yes? Yes.
Wonderful. All right, thank you, Simon.
Thank you, Simon. Thank you.
Yay.
She's awesome.
And she's back.
Does that wear you out?
No, I just got thirsty.
Yeah, I was watching
have a
for sweat,
question
you
for
look good.
Wow.
How much time was it? Did we log it?
Yeah, it was about 40 minutes.
Oh, that's not bad. That's
Yeah,
short.
you had about 15, 20 minutes talking, and so, yes.
It
Yeah,
seemed
so
like
hopefully
so
it
much
looks like
longer
it went
than
well. So
It did.
we'll
I keep
email it.
checking.
Oh,
Yep,
no
I keep
idea.
checking, and I've got your guys' emails, so we can email that over to you guys. We'll just have to figure out how to do the file. We may have to do it in segments. You guys may need a few emails. I don't know.
Oh, I'll do it on YouTube.
Oh, perfect.
Unlisted.
No, you have to, you guys have to see it.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so the rainbow unicorn. That's crazy.
I about had a cow when she pulled her
I
arm
I have
out.
a question.
I I'm jaw dropped. I have to acknowledge
was
this
like,
for a second.
right?
This is insane to me. I didn't know why he was bringing you to have
about
rainbows up. And I was thinking, oh, maybe it was for kids. And then you show me that. I was like, oh.
That was crazy.
Thank you for that, because then that even just confirms for everyone the reality, right? That's insane right there. That's like tangible. That's tangible stuff.
Yeah, and I was raised by a medical doctor, so and a real estate agent. So my life was very much so. Here's a
medical
house,
doctor and a
here's
real
some
estate.
pills. Very realist, you know. And I'm still struggling with them a little bit, but they'll get there. Where do we want?
Wow.
I need to not worry about it.
It's not their responsibility to get there, and it's not yours to meet them. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
really?
so I'm just gonna.
Wow.
Man, I broke and got goosebumps all over
I got
my
several
body
goosebumps when
when
you
she
guys
did
put this
that,
stuff.
and when Simon was talking about losing something about from your body.
Yes.
I've had a major neck surgery, and that's what I'm struggling with. Not being able to do what I used to be able to do. I used to camp and hike, and I just instantly let loose and just bawled. And she was rubbing my back. I could feel every hair on my body standing straight up.
Well, the energy that she worked on with your arm, maybe you felt that with you as well, because a lot of
it was
times
right around my neck.
it
that
would
was
go
doing it.
into that. You know, the energy is so expansive here that it's not just going to focus her. We're all going to get
I
it.
had my eyes closed and was praying too.
Yes, yes.
Wow.
The cleat
So
ons.
I have
I
a
love it.
question.
Yes.
That was strong.
Am I gonna be putting you on my calendar for future events?
I had a feeling
Do
we
you
were
become
sitting
like
there.
a staple?
For sure.
Yes.
She's
wow.
moving potentially
I'm
to the
moving
area.
out. I just found
No,
a house out in
closer.
Weimar
Oh.
area when you said Weimar
I live in
yesterday.
Weimar.
You do?
I live in Weimar.
Yeah,
Where
up
are
on
you
Sykes
moving?
Creek, as we just put an
You're on
offer in.
Sykes? I'm
Yeah.
at Pleasant Creek, so we're on the other
Oh,
side.
my husband and I were exploring that
West
yesterday.
Evans Creek down
Really?
toward-
Oh
Okay.
my
Yeah,
God.
she's on the way to my house.
There seems to be a real light community out here that is
Wow.
active in
Yeah.
this
Wow.
ascension.
Yep.
Yep.
Totally.
We're both in Grants Pass.
Speaking of that area, on Facebook there was a home video of a cougar snatching a chicken out of a coop. I mean, it was amazing, you know. I mean, I know poor chicken and everything, but it was amazing to see the cat, how big and beautiful and powerful it was on East Evans.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
So-
we have them
No,
up
and
behind
that
our
wasn't a
house.
question.
Yeah, so be
maybe
careful
for
if you have
future.
small
My
animals
fear of these animals,
or
some of
kids.
these animals goes. I fear that some of them are from the evil. I don't know. There's something that is keeping me like.
That's interesting.
No.
I have not all. I'm not.
Right.
I'm
Not
not
all,
generalizing.
but
I mean,
Mhm.
I've got these dear friends, and I've got
Yeah,
all
yeah.
Sure, when you
family,
don't
my
live out on
family.
land without
There are
having
those
friends,
other
sure.
ones that I have
Yeah.
this animosity. Like
Oh,
I
sure.
don't want anything like
Sure.
predators. Yeah, I have this real.
It's an old
deep-seated
thing. Yeah, it's an old thing.
Something.
Yeah, it's
Right.
old.
And then there's things
Yeah.
going around the
Instinct.
internet about skinwalkers and all this stuff coming up out of tunnels and out of caves.
And maybe,
Right.
and I don't know. There's something.
That's interesting.
something
I
more
don't play
to
with
it.
that.
Yeah,
No.
me neither.
Yeah.
Just
We,
what
a
she
lot
said,
of time we just say
what
not
she
available,
said.
put that
If
energy
you don't even
around
believe
you.
it, don't even
Well,
play
it's
with
not
it.
even
don't
that.
even-
It's
I won't.
the
Yeah,
it's
if you know,
availability.
use
Say
your
it.
instincts.
And my husband thinks I'm like, well, I'm out there all the time, you know, and I'm like, I don't know what it is. I have something. I have that fear that
Sure.
I don't know what.
Sure.
Yeah, it's old.
I'm Native American, and
Yeah.
animals, they hunt. That's what they are. They're predators. You know, something always eats something else. Don't fear them. But
Yeah, but it's not that. For her, it's specifically other experiences. Like there was an
Like maybe a
experience
past life
specifically.
experience.
Yeah.
Deep seated.
Yeah.
Maybe a
type things.
Like
Yeah.
my fear of heights.
That
But
you
what's
fear.
funny is that it's like not on this
yeah,
planet.
that's
It's
a
like
no.
another planet, and so the way that the creatures express themselves was different.
Oh,
Anyway,
yeah.
it's a whole thing. I can feel it, but
I
we
would
can.
love to hear
Yeah,
more
we can
about
talk about
this.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be cool
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so that's where there's the discernment of like, one thing is just to soothe our, I think one of our primary jobs is to like soothe our human, and then we can do
Right.
everything else.
Right.
But so there's that balance of like, okay, I'm fine, yes, but also if there's something else and I can't move past it, just saying I'm fine isn't going to be sufficient,
Right.
because if that was sufficient, we'd all be fine.
Yes.
We'd be fine all the time.
It's very
Yeah.
hard to
Why,
heal.
Yeah.
right?
Very hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
And
hard work.
It's
Yeah.
necessary. It is
Mhm.
Yeah.
necessary.
Yeah.
All the
And
and the
it is
hardness.
not easy.
Yeah,
May I
it
ask?
is so hard.
Is there an animal specifically coming to mind? that-
No. I just think that there is some creation of something that is evil.
Okay.
I don't know.
I
don't know.
misunderstood what you were saying.
I don't have. I'm not talking about just our
Yeah, yeah.
Animals.
everyday
Yeah.
wildlife.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah, we can talk about it more.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That might be some other topics too.
Something.
So what is your name?
Joel.
Joel.
Hi, Joe.
It's interesting, Joel, because for me, what it's like when I'm channeling, it's almost like I'm sitting behind, like observing him talk to everybody. And I noticed him notice you, and like, it's like, nope, there isn't anything. It was really fascinating, not because there's nothing for you, but that you picked up so much from everybody else. Was that factual? Yeah, it's like it was so potent for you to be. It's almost as if you were holding space for all of us too.
Exactly what
that
I was
wanted to
just
say.
gonna
Thank you.
say.
So I want to thank you for that.
Thank
You
you.
too. I was
Yeah.
going to
Yeah.
just say those
Yeah.
words.
Like he came.
It
to hold
almost
space.
came out of my mouth.
I know
Yeah.
you were with her almost. I could see
It
the
was
whole
a
time.
perfect
Yeah.
space
He was
feeling.
like-
yes.
The whole time.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
yeah. So that's
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Acknowledging that
I
is
did
good.
not know what to expect, and I'm just
Simon has a new friend.
Yeah.
Necessary.
Oh, I'm so glad.
Fantastic.
No, I had my spiritual teacher was back in the 80s,
Uh huh.
and she was a channeler. But and when she would channel, she left her body. She said she would be out here, and her spirit guide was Malachi,
Oh,
and she would just her whole body would rock,
Oh,
and
wow.
the voice changed, and it was like you were so smooth. You know, it was.
Oh, it's taken
Transition
a
was
lot of practice, and I've had like a lot of energetic stuff that's happened to me. So I've experienced what the Western community would deem as seizures, and so that's
Yeah.
part of what's and what's really weird is that they're very specific, and I know what they're for, and so it's kind of okay. I had a period of time where they were kind of starting to happen while I was driving. Was like, okay,
Oh.
listen, if we have things for me to do for a long time, we cannot kill me in a car, okay? Like, this is not what we're
Wait
doing.
until we at home.
exactly.
So,
Doing the same
Text
environment.
me.
Yeah. So that's actually and that Simon spoke to that just briefly, not specifically my experiences, but that's part of what nervous system priming is something that's really
It was
important.
towards her.
Yeah.
I felt like he meant that you have some energetic.
And
It
that's
reminded
part of
me
what
of
like
her
the
stuff.
sun and the earth
you
and
feel
all these
that
things
too?
are
You
doing
too?
for us
Yeah.
is that
Yeah.
they're providing us the ability to match up so that the physical form can match up to these different vibrational expressions as well. But like with what you said, like with the smoothness, part of it why it's smooth is because there's times where it's very not, so that my nervous system is able to hold greater amounts of energy, like it can conduct energy with a lot more flow because he's huge, and so that's been years in happening is like that priming of the nervous system where it's so much smoother now than it was before, and I hold more now than it was before when it was rocky, right?
Well, you couldn't go. It's only been the last so many months
That it
she's
takes.
been able to go under that long.
Yeah,
She'd be like,
and that
today was
fast.
what 40. Oh, and you go under so quick now
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, that did
Yeah,
happen
it
very
seems to be
quickly.
going faster for some people now. It's
Yeah.
my understanding that I just recently received some DNA downgrades
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
so that I
Yeah.
can do this. So
Yeah.
I'm like, okay,
That's
I'm
what he
ready.
was talking
That's what
about.
he was referring with you. I felt that
Yeah,
when
that's
you were
totally what he
saying
said.
it, and I had that visual of what you
Yeah.
went through, and I thought
Yeah.
at some point we
Yeah,
got to tell her.
so that's
this.
what he was saying is
Yeah.
that experience that you
Yeah.
had, what that did was it altered your nervous system.
Yep.
So that's really important because then you can hold more energy, and it can flow through in a greater level. Like it's, Yeah.
I'm like, bring it on.
Do you work with
Yeah.
crystals?
I do. I
Yeah.
do.
Okay. Yeah. I got that feeling that keep doing the crystal.
So
That's
you're
gonna
not
keep-
teaching already?
To amplify.
Amplify
Well,
it. Yeah.
actually, I have done a couple, but I'm not drawing the people for whatever reason. Then I think,
Oh.
maybe it's just not the right topic.
Yeah, but you can't
She
worry
was
about
going
that.
To do that here.
She was gonna do
We
that here.
already
Well,
knew
we
that
talked
I was
about
going to be
it,
working with her.
Yeah.
But me getting it together, and
What do you do? Do you channel? What do you?
I'm not channeling. Well, I am doing the pinnacle
Yeah.
right now.
Okay,
but
you're
I
automatic
want
writing type.
more,
Okay. Yeah.
And I've been assigned an Arturian. I have a couple free guides that I know of.
Wow.
The latest one is Arturian,
Uh-huh.
and he is going to work with me with my gifts.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, just, okay, so I put together a couple of short classes and
Yeah.
I did them,
Yeah.
but it's drawing the people in, and one of them had to do with clearing,
Yeah.
energetic clearing.
Yeah.
Another one, what I got really excited about was raising your frequency, frequent and
Oh, yeah.
energy
Yeah.
enrichment.
Mm-hmm.
But I
We
got
would
kind
go.
of stumped.
We would
Like,
go.
I got stumped. Like I can't do these at my house. I
Right.
can do one-on-one. I realize that's my space there, and
Sure.
it's safer to do one-on-one. I want to do it all though,
Yeah.
and so I'm trying to ground myself regularly, but I want to do it all. I want to do one-on-one. I want to do teachings. I want to do healings, which all of it is healing.
Sure. Yeah.
And they said I'm going to be doing quite a few things. I prematurely had printed out my cards. Don't focus on my hypnosis, because I've been doing quantum hypnosis. So
Sure.
don't focus on that.
Wow,
Focus
sounds
on everything
overwhelming.
else. So
Well,
and
the quantum hypnosis was a preparation for you.
Yeah.
So not all of the things that we do is it for us to then do it out in the world. It's
Right.
an integration that gets you prepared for the next thing. Does that make sense?
It's a teaching for you.
Yeah,
first.
and
Yeah,
it creates a
yeah.
foundational thing.
It
Yeah.
brings on the knowing. It actually
Yeah.
helps incorporate that knowing how real all of this is.
Mhm.
Having a conversation with an archangel
Yeah.
is like very incredible.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
bet.
100%.
Amazing. And
Liberating and
Are
Yeah.
you comfortable on social media or no? Yeah.
I'd rather
Supposed to
do
it
one
nowadays.
the in-person stuff. I
Yeah.
just
Is
feel
your
like
daughter
it's
into
more
this
person.
ideas?
She won't express it if she is.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
My family is
Not, yeah, they're not.
not open-minded.
Not
not yet,
yeah,
but I have
not
my
yet.
oldest daughter opening up, and all of a sudden she's open to having me do my pendulum to get answers. you
Yeah,
know.
almost.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to say it almost feels like to me that your daughter's going to be helping you, and you're going to be getting social media will help you a lot to start. You
Yeah,
know.
team up. That's what I was thinking too.
Yeah, and it
was-
feels like your daughter might be a good person. Do you
don't
have more
know.
than one
She's-
daughter?
Oh, I've got one in Idaho and I've got one here. My oldest daughter is very type A, and she's.
Yeah. It feels like one of them. I
I
don't
feel
think
like
it's
I
the-
am kind of coaching these people in my life.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, Trying to leave it out, but I can't.
Yeah.
It's hard
yeah.
because
It's
so
also too, if you can video your lessons and put them out on YouTube.
Yeah.
You can start getting a bigger following, and then if you get a big enough following, then people will trust and believe in you to go to an actual physical class kind of thing. I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out myself.
Then
I want to be
like how
leading
and why.
classes.
That's our million-dollar
I know. Yeah, leading.
Yeah.
I just.
I think one of the things that's really important to remember is that it doesn't matter if it's even just you and Janilou. We have this idea that success looks a certain way.
Yep.
That what
It's
we're
true.
supposed, and that it's any of it's supposed to, and it can't. We can't. Our mind is good at a lot of things, but determining success is not one of them.
Yeah.
You know, and we judge ourselves based on what it's supposed to look like, and when it doesn't look the way that our mind told us it was going to look, then we feel like we failed. And then if we failed, why are we going to keep doing something that we're failing at? But
Right.
if you're expressing yourself, you're not failing. And remembering, so my car got stolen about a month ago,
Yeah,
one
it was
month and a
a
half
month
ago
ago.
when we were in Portland. And the
Oh.
reason I'm telling you this is because right after that happened, that night we did a channeling. That was after we were stuck in a snowstorm for 6 hours on the
On the
highway
freeway
with our
with
children.
our girls,
But
yeah.
anyway, I digress.
It was crazy.
Oh my
But it's all
Lord.
good, right? It's all good. And so that night I was like, I felt okay with it, and we were just moving through all the things. There's a lot of steps. That's the thing that was annoying about it, is just a lot of human things you have to do.
Yeah.
And I'm not a tasker. I really don't like human tasking. I just don't like. I don't like it.
Adulting.
I like. There's humaning stuff I enjoy a lot, but tasking is not one of it. So that evening it was late. We should have been going to bed, and it said let's talk to Simon.
Let's chill and find out why the car is gone.
Why not?
And so one of the things that he shared, which is something that we all know, but what's really helpful to hear it again, is that every experience that we have, we as humans, we look at it as just that experience. We're like, why did this happen, or whatever. And it's really so much more to it, is because that event is then related to this event, which is related to that thing, which is related to this thing, which is related to that thing. So if this thing didn't happen, that variable is out. And so now you don't have the point that then connects all the rest of them. And so if having a class where it's just you and Janilou is setting the stage for the whatever the next piece is, who are you to judge that that wasn't right, that that wasn't correct?
And if you want a couple people just that won't be judgmental and will let you do your thing, just let it roll, we'll come.
And I know a lot of it's my own insecurities because I've always been very out there, you know, and my family's always pushed, you know, like
Mine too.
back, you know.
Back off?
Well, just try to, like, Laura, you just taught, you
Tone
just,
it down.
Yeah.
Tone it
Yeah.
down.
and that's my
Being
insecurity.
weird.
Oh yeah,
I
but
do.
many of us
What's
feel
weird?
that.
What's
Yeah,
that
many
about?
of us
I felt every core of my being for many, many years. I have felt this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Are you familiar with human design?
That's exactly what I was wondering.
It sounds a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, it'd be fun to come into a class. A
Human design
with
class?
Jenny, Yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah,
human
it's kind of like
design-
astrology, kind of.
Yeah, it's a modality that
Yeah.
incorporates the I Ching, astrology, the chakra system, quantum,
It's
like all kinds of
awesome.
things.
It's awesome.
And it gives us. Are you familiar? Yeah. So it gives you a profile
It's
and information.
really
It'd be fun. We should do a class.
Yeah.
But
get my
you can.
calendar.
Yeah.
But you can
Me too, I'll be
do.
there.
You can get a free chart, and you put your birth information. Do you know the time you were born?
I can find it. on my
Yeah.
page.
So that's really powerful because I feel like it's a tool. It's really helped me when I started. So I found human design at the same time that I was doing all this work publicly. So I started online and being like sharing things and teaching about 6 years ago. Yeah, 6 years ago. And so I've been doing that. You know, it's been a little bit of time, and it takes a lot. And it really helped me to have external confirmation of what I've always known.
It's really,
And
it's
that
really,
really
I
helped
I
me.
know I was born on Thanksgiving Day, and my husband, we married 10 years ago, 11 years ago.
Yeah.
He was born on Halloween,
Oh,
which is really
that is funny. All the holidays.
born on a holiday.
That's funny.
Trick or treat.
So when is this class?
I know, exactly.
It's fun. It'll be
Yeah,
fun.
we'll have to do that. Human design is so, well, you get to know yourself on a different level of how your energetics work and why certain things in your life are not working. And you actually get
Nice.
something tangible to go, I can do this, or I cannot do this, you know? Or if I do it this way, I get these results. It's
Or I should be doing this
Yeah.
instead of that.
Yeah,
or
it's a
different
really-
It's not
way.
even shoulds. It's more
It's-
about
yeah.
energetic correctness for your
it's
form.
energetic
There you go.
correctness is perfect.
Yeah, because
What
there's
if
no
you don't know
shoulds.
what time you were born?
Then you can, if you know the time of day, it's helpful. If not, what you do is you run a bunch of charts, and then you hope that you were born on a day where it doesn't change too much. No, you would, but that's part of it.
You can-
but
you can
another
get it
part is
down.
you can do a rectification if you're familiar with rectification with astrology. You can do the same with human design where you're getting real close to it. Yeah.
Yeah, so you can still do it for sure. It just take a little bit of tweaking on a few things.
people, is it okay if they come in?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
sure. We're
sure,
just
we're
talking at
wrapping
the
up,
end.
but yeah,
but come on in.
It's over.
But come on. Oh, Chrissy's here. Well, Chrissy and they're more than welcome. They're friends of ours. Yeah. Hello, guys.
There you go.
So this is
Thank you.
Best of luck
But I'm
to
gonna
you.
get on it.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
And come and see us again. I want to know how it
Well,
happened.
Yeah,
I'll do that.
really.
When
See you guys
send me
next
back?
time.
You're gonna have another story to tell
Yeah.
us.
shopping for some.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's good to meet you.
Yeah.
All
By
right.
the
Yeah.
front door.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. All right.
Because
I'm happy
there's a
for
lot
you.
going on and changing in my life right now. Because I
Yeah.
got a few psychic shit on my phone telling me things I need to get done.
Hey, good luck.
I can't wait to
Hold on,
hear.
I'll make it happen.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah.
How are you guys doing? Thanks for coming.
Oh, that's okay.
Don't worry about it. We were wrapping up.
I did bring a cat.
Hi, Zoe.
He's a kitty cat today, huh?
We recorded it so you'll be able to watch it.
Yeah. Okay, so we were talking about human design. I felt like I was going to say something else. Yeah.
Tell me your name.
Florida.
Laura. Okay.
Laura. Yeah, no, I felt like I didn't know everybody's name. I knew yours, of course, but
Yeah.
I didn't know your name either. Your name.
I'm Megan.
Megan, that's right. You told me
remember
that day.
Mandy.
And Mandy, I
We got
remember
it.
because our name is okay.
Well, she's
But
like,
Laura.
hi, I'm Andy. And she's like, I'm Andy.
Yeah, I'm like, I'll remember her name for sure, but I couldn't remember Megan's name. I was trying to make notes. I was like, okay, who is who?
But the human design is going to be really pivotal for you because it's going to be confirmations. And like, that's really what you're playing with right now is building that confidence piece to know, like, I think especially when we have all these layers of being told to be small and to conform and all these things when you know what you actually are, and seeing that reflection of what you actually are. One of the most potent things I do sometimes, if I had the beginning reading years ago and I go back to it and I open my papers and I just like dig into certain things, and it always like reactivates me. And I look, I do something called gene keys as well, which we could do a separate thing, but which is related to each other but separate in a way. But it's just, I like these things that give us, astrology is beautiful and amazing, but these two things, they give you something that astrology can't, because it gives you like a pathway forward.
That's so
Right.
exciting.
Yeah.
I wanted to tell you something that came to me too about your classes, and when you're hesitant on like doing YouTube or you're not sure of that, just keep gathering all the information, like get it ready, keep doing your writings, keep practicing, because your energetics is going to keep growing and growing and growing, and somebody or something is going to open up and help you, and you'll propel forward. So don't stop because you think no one's coming or no one's doing things. Just keep going, keep going, and keep getting your information ready.
Something
Well,
will
I've
happen.
had
It-
a lot
it
of, I mean,
is.
I've had to, a lot of experiences.
Yes.
Tons of experiences.
Yeah.
Just one the other day, asking, I want to sell more
Pay
love.
attention.
Yeah.
I'm out there by myself, my husband's gone all the time,
Yeah.
and I had this dream that I was, and I've experienced the flow of love. When you hug somebody,
Yeah.
you really feel it. That is so powerful. It's more than just a hug. It's
Yes, love.
and a real flow, energy. And the other night, so I had a dream that it was during a meditation. I had fallen asleep, and I met myself.
Oh,
But she didn't look like me.
Yeah.
But there was a group of people there. I don't know who everybody else was.
Yeah.
I just remember.
That's cool.
I just remember her, and I said, "What's your name?" And she said, "Laura." And I said, "Oh," and I went to give her a hug, and we just had this beautiful
Merging.
exchange.
Nice.
And then I was giving these other people, or energies, whatever, they look like people, hugs, and we had the same thing. And I said, "This is what I want to do. I want to."
Share your energy with people.
Wow.
Or
But
exchange.
she was me,
Oh,
and from a different
cool dimension.
fractal. I don't know. She was me.
That's a powerful dream.
You were loving
I like to
yourself.
call it dimension, but
I
I don't.
asked
Yeah,
for
exactly.
it. You
Yeah.
receive what you ask
like it.
for, and I asked for it.
I like it.
I got a
lot.
thunderstorm one night.
Wow.
That's
Ooh, I
awesome.
got goosebumps.
It was a really vivid dream, and I told my best friend about it. She's in Iowa, but we're psychically connected because we've been practicing together, throwing energy balls and stuff like that. Plus, we're like best friends from the bar. And she said, I described the dream. It was one other person, a very specific, large tent. She goes, "That sounds just like something I actually experienced." And I go, "No way." And I truly believe that I tapped into that memory for that dream. So I asked for a thunderstorm.
You know, we're all
She reminds me of
connected.
Marissa.
Oh,
Doesn't
yeah.
she remind me of?
Yeah.
She reminds us of
Oh, she does, yeah. She's a friend of
a
ours.
really dear friend of ours. You
She's the
remind us.
cutest.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah.
Yeah, you remind me a lot of her.
Yeah, she unicorn rainbow.
It's hard for her to come to that
Well,
stage
the
because she
rain-
has young kids.
The rainbow unicorn. I'm still like.
That was
Oh,
weird.
yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, I was
So
so
Christy, her message was Simon
I
told
was
her
like,
about rainbow unicorns and all these
unicorn.
things,
And
and
she's
she's
like-
show her.
And I didn't see it. I did not see it.
Wow, that was a
So he has a message for her. So,
For Chrissy. Okay. So do you
so
want
we'll
to
go
go under
under
again?
real quick.
Yep.
Yeah, is that
Yep.
cool?
Yeah. Yeah. Is that okay? Yeah. Okay.
Not leaving now.
Yes. Yes. You have a message coming, Chrissy. All right, Chrissy and
Does
Zoe.
everyone feel that when he comes in? Everyone.
Yeah, I get an energy flow through me, but whenever he's talking and you hit a certain point with whoever, all of a sudden
I get energy
Yeah,
things
I
too.
got this.
it just comes on up, and
Yep.
it's like, whoa.
Isn't it interesting because you just know, you feel that energy and you know. So when people say, "Oh, that's not real," or people make that, you experience
I'll just show
it.
him her arm.
Yeah. You experience it when you sit in a room and you experience it.
Oh yeah.
It's
real.
It's real.
It doesn't matter what anybody else says. You
No.
can say all day that
Right?
that's a lie.
Yeah.
No, you're wrong.
Yeah, no. There's a
I felt
feeling.
it.
I love hearing that you guys felt that because I always feel it. I always know. It's
Hey,
like I
and
know.
physical
It's
things
that
like
energy.
goosebumps
Oh,
and
yes.
hairs standing up.
Yes.
Oh my! I mean, I felt it go over the energy go over my neck, the back back of my neck.
Well, I knew it was powerful. You know, you were having a release with your emotions and stuff. So I thought, oh, this, yeah, you guys were. I loved you guys were really getting it. It was awesome. I loved watching it. Okay.
We're going. Okay.
Okay.
Bye.
Did you get some water and all that? You good? Okay.
Sometimes we'll be together and I'll start yawning. She's like, is he coming? Is he going
Oh,
to talk to us? I'm like, I think
There's a
he
few
was
times
trying.
we've been at dinner and I'm like, do I need to go somewhere because I can feel it coming.
Or anytime she'll be like, yeah, I want to ask Simon. It's like, we're having dinner, or we're driving, or like, not right now.
How rude.
The yawn will come on, the eyes will start flooding. I'm like, oh boy, do I need to be pulling over? What's happening?
We may begin again.
All right, welcome back, Simon. We are still at Janilou Creations, and our friend Chrissy and her daughter Zoe are here.
Yes.
And we understand you have a message for them.
Yes, incredibly important for Chrissy to move forward with the things that she's been attempting to do for quite some time. It's important for it not to be an attempt. Yes, it is just a moving forward. As long as you're thinking, oh, I'm tempting, I am trying. These are incorrect energies. It's quite important to tune into the doingness, the beingness, the ising in the moment. What is in the moment is that you're quite aware of the creations that are coming forward from you, yes? So allowing them to come forward. There isn't just a book, there isn't just a expression, there are multiple, and it's quite some time for them to come forward. Yes, there's a series of 7 that will be coming forward, so it is quite important for the first one to come through, yes? You may not publish the first one first, you may be publishing the 3rd one, so beginning to write and making that space to write, and even having your child with you while you are writing is quite helpful. She can do her things and have her creations and make her book as well. It would be quite helpful for her to do her book as well. Oh yes, there's an aspect of the comic book. Yes, doing some drawings and having the stories coming through her. Yes, these stories come through her quite often. Yes, this is quite all right that I'm speaking to her. Yes,
Is that okay, Chrissy? Yes? Okay, yes.
Yes, this is quite beautiful. This is something that can be together, and that will, oh yes, the energy is lightening right there. There is a heaviness around you doing this, and how would you have space for, yes, this is quite important. There will be the space, yes? Yes, you can be many things all at once. This is quite important. You can be many things all at once. Yes, you can allow the creative capacity to flow through you while still parenting and loving and allowing for this creation, this being that came to you to be parented by you. Yes, it's very similar to the message that we had over here. Yes, whether the child comes to be parented by you, it isn't just the joy of parenting and the thing that is a responsibility. This child came through to be parented by you. Yes, this must be an understanding and a remembrance. This is quite important. Yes, which is important for your creation, for all of the capacities of all of the things that you are to allow themselves to be expressed now. Yes.
It's pretty powerful.
Well, you have some questions. Are you speechless?
Yeah. No.
7 books.
Yeah.
Wow.
It must be understood that that is just the beginning. Yes, these 7 books are just the beginning. They seem like quite a lot, but they aren't. They're just the beginning. There's many more to come. But if I were to say the actual number that she would be creating, it'd be quite intimidating. So it's quite important to begin with the 7. Yes.
So start with 7. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Blown. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what to say.
Yes, and as we said before, we begin by beginning. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, we begin by beginning. What could be a first step for her?
This.
Yeah. Opening up.
Yes. Well, it's quite important. The first step is this understanding that she can be more than one thing.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, that it will not hinder. You would never do anything to hinder her, which sometimes can be a little obstructive to the things that are important to you because there's a worry of hindering her experience, and you won't. She came here to walk with it with you. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, that's exactly what's been killing me. Like that's exactly what's been.
Right. But
that
she
I
came
would
here
change
to
her
walk.
world in some
Oh
way.
no, but she came here. But she came
And
here
look
for
at
that.
your,
Yes.
look at your
Yes.
baby girl when
Yeah,
you're
yes.
when you're saying
She
she's
came
going
here-
like
Mentally
this.
too, so.
Yeah.
You know.
Zoe, do you like comic books? Could you make one? Could you make one, or maybe draw a picture book? Do you like doing anything like that? What do you like to do?
Okay, I'll do that,
You like to paint? Is that what you said? Oh, play. I thought you said paint. Well, that is play. I like it. I like it.
Yes. Is that complete?
Yes.
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 That was.
Thank you,
Cool.
Simon. That was very cool.
It's quite important.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Cool. Hi.
Chrissy
I
just
can
went
see
from
why you don't wear makeup.
yeah.
Oh, I wear really light. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to.
No,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
too often.
Yeah. Wow,
God, I'm a-
Chrissy, love it. Message.
All over the-
Yeah, big.
That was crazy.
That's a big message for you.
Was that a
Isn't it
little weird?
how it's just
It's a little
spot
weird.
on,
So
you
when
know?
I was
It's
like your age,
how
my
are
dad
you?
used to take me to like different than this. It wasn't channeling,
It's
but
like
it
you're the
well
only
actually it was
one
kind
in
of
the room with
it
that.
was spirit energies
No,
and
but
things
you're
like that,
surrounded
basically
by
a
love,
seance.
too.
It was so weird to me, but I kind of loved it, but it
It
was kind of
was.
weird. So I was kind of like, I think I'm afraid, but I really like it, but I'm not afraid. So yeah, it's weird.
Takes a
Thanks for
second.
being here.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
And if you have questions or you want to talk about it later, we can totally talk about like what the deal
what
is
that
that just
means.
happened.
What was that?
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
If you want, we can draw stick people together. That's my
Yeah. So he's like,
Practice
yeah,
makes
no,
perfect.
She likes to play.
I like
and I
your
hear you like
ears.
geocaching.
Ooh, that
I
sounds
heard
fun.
you guys were doing that yesterday. Is that right?
I'm
Doing
totally
what?
interested in
Geocaching, yeah, it's an app that you get on your phone, and people hide
That's something
things
that
in different
physically-
parts of the valley, and your phone will tell you. You have to go
Yeah.
find it. And you'll either hide something in it, or you might have to just write, something. Yeah,
That sounds like
it's a lot of fun. Yeah, and yeah, it's good. Oh no, I was just gonna say it's really cool because it shows the kids how to compass and all that. Yeah.
Sometimes they're like gone because sometimes people might think it's trash or something.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Well, and
Oh.
like, when we've been out in our group, we homeschool. So these guys are part of our homeschool group that we have. Sometimes we've been in a homeschool group and you found, caches too. I mean, we've
Yeah.
always been really good for putting it back, but maybe somebody's found some and not knowing what it is too.
Yeah.
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 We've left some things over the years
Cold
just for
water?
fun.
Yeah, isn't it
So
fun?
I hope somebody finds this.
I know.
Just under a rock or something, I think like a pendant wrap once we left.
Oh, that's really
awesome.
awesome.
So we'd love to find something like
Yeah.
that.
I lost one.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll find it. No, somebody found it, I'm sure. It was gone.
Well,
It wasn't
Okay,
me.
so what I
big
do you have-
message. No, it's just
Yeah,
a big
big.
message for Chrissy. I was just like,
Yeah.
we'll have to process that for a few
Yeah.
minutes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, but I obviously you guys know what I'm writing a book. Is what he was talking about, and I've been struggling with finishing it and getting it to the next step for a long time, and I wasn't really sure what's been stopping me from getting there. And the more I thought about it, the more I processed it, I'm afraid of how things will change in my life
Right.
once I take the
Step
Right.
push
publishing
forward,
it. Yeah.
and how it'll adjust her life, and how it just change for me is hard.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Totally.
Ooh, yeah.
And what if the whole reason that you're writing this book and going to this next chapter is for something that's going to be super pivotal for her as a teen or an adult?
Like a next
Positively
level,
positive.
a next,
Right? Because
next dimension,
very
next
positive. It's like
level.
this thing that you are like, she's here because you're going to help her get to that point that she wants to get to. That'll be big for her.
Yeah.
You wouldn't want to hold that back.
No.
Or that
Yeah,
fear
right?
is actually just keeping you from having the next best step in your life. Maybe it will be wonderful instead of change everything for the worst.
A big thing for me is starting to operate from a place of like wanting to experience more instead of I feel like I always operated from a place of fear,
Me,
and
yeah.
getting out of that place and moving forward not from fear but just trying to experience and just taking things as they come,
Yeah.
which it's hard.
It
not
is hard.
To go with the flow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, it is hard.
Yeah.
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 Yeah,
Just, I want to go look at those crystals out
Right.
there.
So I wanted to say thank you to all of you for being here for this. This is so amazing. And I think what's really phenomenal is that it's so, a message I've been getting a lot of is that everything's about our expression. Like all of our experiences, everything that happens, like all of these, the thoughts, the things we're attracted to, it's like, they're all conduits for our expression.
Sorry.
You know, you're okay. Yeah. Yeah, so it's all like about our expression. All of this is about us just fully expressing. And I loved how like all of the messages for everyone was really about the way that you're all serving humanity too. Like that was the attraction of it. Like every time it's always different. Like the people that come in a certain space, like this happened in Shasta, like the energy of like, why did they come together to listen to each other's messages? And this one was really about like that movement forward to do the thing.
Yeah, it was
You
really
know,
about
all of
the-
you. It was all about doing the
Yeah.
thing, you know?
allowing the
Yeah.
expression was really big.
Mhm.
Allowing the expression and being your authentic self.
no.
Being
Oh yeah,
yourself.
oh yeah, no, I got
Yeah.
lots of notes. Yeah, yeah.
For-
So
and
being your
all-
authentic
Yeah.
self.
forgiveness, everything.
yeah, like,
moving
how are we
past
showing up
traumas.
in our authentic ways,
Forgiveness is huge.
especially
I know,
when
and
we're
it's
in
hard,
situations like
'cause
you
we're
are,
our-
where people
our own
aren't
worst
supporting
critic.
you,
Yes.
right?
It's
With
also
your
what
family.
Yeah, I haven't pushed it too hard
Listen a
either
second.
though.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Because
yeah.
I don't want to
Right,
push something that's not wanted.
right. But being authentic is just
Being in the
it's
right
so
place
big.
and knowing
Yeah.
what
It's so
people
big.
want.
yeah,
so
it
big.
feels so projectory.
I know,
Um,
Do you think she feels
I could be,
projector?
yeah,
I know,
but I would
I
check
wonder.
your human design is going to be huge. It's going to really help. It just gives so much language. Yeah, I know we've given it to, you know, we've shared it with Chrissy, and like it just, it's huge.
I'm so excited about
Yeah,
that.
we'll do a
yes.
class. So, and then you can do your
I
thing.
really, I have a business card out there, but I'm not practicing my quantum hypnosis right now.
Yeah.
Too much. I'd be willing to do one, but anybody want to stay in contact or whatever? And
Yeah.
I'm willing to take.
I would love that.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Yeah,
That would be
and
super
I am
fun.
in Weimar area, so
Yeah,
as well,
especially-
neighbor,
yeah.
She's
Well, Chrissy, you
asked
don't
me,
know,
so-
but we put an offer on a house out here yesterday. We haven't, nothing's been accepted yet. It just went in this morning, so
Yeah.
fingers crossed. But anyway, I'll be a
Well,
little closer to
Simon-
you.
Ask Simon. Simon says.
Oh yeah, I should have
know,
asked
I
Simon
thought
when we
that
were
on the
under
way
today.
here. I'm
But
like,
I kind of don't need to ask Simon
Simon
because I know it's going to
says.
work. I know.
And then I
Yeah,
last night I had a
yeah,
dream
I know.
that he was
Yeah,
an
there's a
alien.
whole story.
Yeah, we'll tell you.
Yeah, I'll fill you in.
Yeah, I want to be out of this
Well, no, she
conflict
said he
here
was
because
human.
I love.
She
you know,
said
I
he
want
was
to be in
A
this
binary
community,
Yeah.
but I don't want to be so far
I
out
don't know.
where I'm
Okay.
isolated. But then my daughter's having another baby, and I feel so far.
Where
from her.
is
They're in
she?
White City.
White
I
City.
babysat 2 to 3 days
Like
a week for the
spirit,
first
not
almost 4
necessarily
years of my
being.
granddaughter's life, and now she's
Right.
But she has to ask her.
in her preschool and
Yeah.
Central
I
Point.
can really feel you with that because I'd want to be close to my
But I
grandbaby.
want to
too.
be closer, and my daughter's going to need my help.
Yeah.
I know my daughter. She's
This is
going
where
to need my help.
Yeah.
My youngest
Somehow
daughter.
there's going to be a both, and he said that. Remember, he did say that there's going to be a way it's going to work both ways.
Maybe
I
they'll move
don't-
closer to you.
Yeah, who knows what's in the works for them because it did feel something on their end. I don't know if you remember
She
that.
needs her mama. I know she does.
Yeah.
She's having the second child, and
Oh yeah,
Definitely
her first
needs
one's
the
going to
mama.
almost be 6, and you know
Uh-huh.
she's.
6-year difference there.
I wish
yeah.
she'd release her anxiety stuff, but she just needs the help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll all be fine.
I released
Yeah.
a lot of stuff today.
Yeah.
Oh my
good.
gosh, I love meeting
Oh
all
my
you guys.
granddaughter, I just love you so much.
I know,
just
I'm
want
so-
to eat you. I
I
just love
know.
her so much.
You right.
Wow, that's an expression.
Yeah, yeah.
I say there's my
I
daughter.
love them so much.
That's also.
That's a natural thing.
I'll talk about that in
Yeah.
human design also because she might be a taste cognition.
Oh,
and
oh,
taste
yeah, yeah.
cognition person
That's
would want
like
it.
Saturday,
Sure,
right?
sure.
We'll talk about it in the class because there's the basic things with human design and then there's like
Chrissy, what time is it?
deeper variables and there is an aspect of it is called
Okay. I think we were here till
cognition. And so our cognition is the way in which we receive information. So I'm taste. So for me, like I'll use taste type words. And so when I was a little kid, I used to put everything in my mouth. We experience the world through that. So like when I'm interacting with people, there's sometimes when I'm like turned off by something, it's because I find it not tasteful. It's really interesting. And then there's others, there's smell, there's feeling, there's all these other ones. But it's interesting that you said that because it made me think like, oh, that's such like a taste. I don't know if that's what yours is, but it's such a taste cognition thing to say because when we love so much, we want to, because that's how we process information. So if we process information that way, that love, does that make sense? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
But
love tastes
anyway.
good.
It's a deep.
Yeah.
Deep.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
like, ooh, yeah, I get it.
I call my granddaughter. I
It's a
always call her
yummy
sugar
thing.
baby.
Oh.
Love it.
And sweetheart, you know,
Yeah.
but sugar baby was her name.
That's
Not
cute.
anymore.
Too old.
Well, you never know.
I know, right? Or nicknames.
Oh, it was
Okay,
such
we
a
gotta
joy. Thank you so
wrap
much.
Yeah.
Just to bowl it out.
So I do these privately. We're gonna keep doing these. I do like a little of everything. I have the podcast that you guys might like.
Oh yeah.
That's me talking. We're gonna start one with Simon soon.
Yep.
Simon Says.
Yeah.
But mine's really
Isn't
good.
that
I think
cool?
there's
I know,
like a
it's
lot
good.
of there's a couple of different processes on there that you can do, like meditations and different things. I have a book which highly recommend. It's on Amazon. I
Wyatt,
think
I
it's
will sell that here.
you'll sell it in here. Well, there you go.
Do you have cards with all small questions?
Yeah, well, that's
Yeah.
what we need to be working on. Yeah, exactly. So her podcast is Seeds of Expansion, and it's free.
Oh, we gave you our email address.
So I'm gonna send
did.
you.
So how about we
yeah.
send you information?
Yay.
You have that listed on your sheet of paper?
Yeah, we should put the podcast on the flyer.
We need to put all kinds of things.
Well,
on the
yeah, we
flyer.
threw that flyer together
Two-sided.
quick. So
Yeah.
what'd you say?
Two-sided.
Well, actually, what we're thinking of doing is doing a QR code where you can actually scan with your phone, and
That's
it'll
what
take
we
you
would
to
do,
the
yeah.
page that has
Oh, that's a
everything.
good idea.
So then you can save the event, you can do things like that, and then for the class, if we do like a paid class or something, you can actually pay through the QR code. So people can be like, oh, I want to do that, and do it, and right there, instead of normally you see something like, oh, I think I want to go to that, and then we totally forget that we wanted to go to the thing, and then a week later we're like, oh, wasn't that last week? So yeah. But Seeds of Expansion, and then on Amazon the book is Expansion Principle Healing for a New Earth.
Yep.
Nice.
And I'm on
Excellent.
Expansion
Love to read it.
Principle Healing for a New Earth.
Do you have copies that you
I don't right now, but we'll be getting some in
She's
the
in
next
the
couple weeks.
process of it.
Yeah,
Because
we'll
we
bring
have
some.
we have an event coming up at
There you go.
Aquarius in
Everything's
May.
expansion.
So we'll be up at Aquarius Books in May, but it sounds like we'll be back here too.
Or you can do the Kindle and then buy it from Janilou when it's physical.
Yeah. And your website.
I actually have lots of books that are both.
I want to join the group.
Really?
that
I
buy
do a
both.
lot that's
I
both.
do. There's some that I have all
There's
three.
some
like
that
the
I got
audio,
on, yeah.
You mean
physical.
that you buy or
That I buy.
Oh, okay.
Just like
yeah.
if we're doing
Yeah,
something.
I
Not
don't.
that you wrote.
Audible or
Not yet. Well, I've written two other books. I just haven't published them yet.
Oh, okay.
That's another thing.
That's another topic I keep going, hurry up, you need to do that. Okay, your website?
Yeah, that's Expansion Principle Institute. So I have a lot of classes that you can purchase.
And
like-
that's on the flyer, the
Yeah.
Institute.
Yeah. So so there's a lot of different classes on basically any topic you can think of. I have classes on there, and then
So he talked about the origin, I think, a little bit to you guys, right?
Yes,
I remember
that
that.
was confusing to me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I
there's a
thought it
whole
might be,
course on
there's
it.
a course on it that is on her, is it on
It's
your
really good.
website?
It is.
Okay.
I think so.
I had
It's a course.
very vivid dream all night last night, continuing loop dream that I was walking around picking up crystals from the earth, thinking about your shop
Yeah.
here,
Wow.
and that I encountered Simon and he was an alien.
Oh, interesting.
Oh.
But I didn't know it was Simon. I was just like, hey, that's a cool crystal. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
and the being was there, and I was like,
Oh, interesting.
peace. And then off I went, and I'm like,
love that
what?
the dreams are so vivid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, this is kind of weird, but I
so
guess it's
vivid.
just, what the day is going to be tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then